In a dramatic turn of event on Monday, Iran fired as many as 6 missiles targeting the Al Ubaid military base in Qatar, housing US troops.
Iran said it would retaliate, and tonight it did, launching missiles at US bases in Qatar, with air raid sirens also sounding in Bahrain, home to the US Fifth Fleet. The main US base in northeast Syria is also on full alert. Airspace over much of the region remains closed. The Al Udeid Air Base is the biggest US military facility in the region. It's a key air and logistics hub with around 10,000 American troops stationed there. Iranian state media said the Al-Assad air base in Iraq was also targeted, but there have been no reports of any explosions there.
Al Udeid Air Base is the largest U.S. air base in the Middle East, with 10,000 troops estimated to be stationed there. The base is also host to U.S. Central Command's regional headquarters and command facilities for special forces. The report comes after Qatari authorities temporarily suspended air traffic in the country's airspace.
The move was believed to have been in retaliation of the US bombing of Iranian nuclear facilities on Sunday morning. Iran reportedly informed Qatar in advance its plans to fire missiles so that Qatar could take necessary actions. No damages or casualties were reported, as all Iranian missiles were reportedly shot down. But the move is being termed as Iran's intention to fight back any acts of aggression by Israel or its proxies, including the US. At least this was the earlier assessment. However, Donald Trump took to social media to thank Iran for advance notice and hoped that this would pave the way for peace in the region. He wrote, and I quote, Iran has officially responded to our obliteration of their nuclear facilities with a very weak response, which we expected and have very effectively countered. There have been 14 missiles fired, 13 were knocked down, and one was set free because it was headed in a non threatening direction. I'm pleased to report that no Americans were harmed and hardly any damage was done. Most importantly, they have gotten it all out of their system, and there will hopefully be no further hate. I want to thank Iran for giving us early notice, which made it possible for no lives to be lost and nobody to be injured. Perhaps Iran can now proceed to peace and harmony in the region, and I will enthusiastically encourage Israel to do the same. Thank you for your attention to this matter. End quote. In another post, Trump wrote, and I quote, I would like to thank the highly respected Emir of Qatar for all that he has done in seeking peace for the region. Regarding the attack today at the American base in Qatar, I am pleased to report that in addition to no Americans being killed or wounded, very importantly, there have also been no Qataris killed or wounded. Thank you for your attention to this matter. End quote. He concluded it by saying, Congratulations, world, it's time for peace. His social media post came amidst reports in the Israeli media suggesting that Israel would end its offensives against Iran within days. Iran's retaliatory attacks had given rise to full-fledged war in the region.
Well, I mean, there was a time, not that long ago, 10, 15 years ago, when, for example, the late Saudi ruler, Crown Prince Abdullah, or King Abdullah as he became, was overheard on WikiLeaks, or it was leaked, saying, begging the Americans to, as he put it, cut off the head of the snake. In other words, hit Iran. Those days are long over. Saudi Arabia and Iran have had a rapprochement. They live in the same neighborhood. They don't want to go to war with each other. So there's a lot of ways that this could have been a whole lot worse. And I think there is an opportunity further down the line to revive diplomacy, if that's where it's left.
Lord Ricketts, a former national security advisor in the UK government, had this to say on the Iranian attacks.
Yeah, it sounds like it's perhaps a demonstration of capacity, that they may not have been intending that there would be massive damage, but to send a very clear signal that they are capable of doing more, and then report to their own publics that they've launched a very powerful attack, and perhaps hope that that's it. But it's, dangerous and unpredictable territory.
The Saudi kingdom had issued a strongly worded statement condemning Iran for its attack on the US base. It said, and I quote, "The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia condemns and denounces in the strongest terms the aggression launched by Iran against the sisterly state of Qatar, which constitutes a flagrant violation of international law and the principles of good neighborliness. It is unacceptable and cannot be justified under any circumstances." End quote. Qatar too had reacted angrily as its statement read, and I quote, "The state of Qatar strongly condemns the attack that targeted Al Ubaid air base by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. We consider this a flagrant violation of the sovereignty of the state of Qatar, its airspace, international law, and the United Nations Charter. We affirm that Qatar reserves the right to respond directly in a manner equivalent with the nature and scale of this." End quote. In 2022, Iran had responded with mild retaliation aimed at the US base in Iraq after informing the US about its plans. This was believed to be a face-saving exercise by Iran after Trump had General Qasem Soleimani, the head of Iran's Quds Force, assassinated in Iraq. As I said in my earlier video, a full-blown war with the US involvement in the Middle East would have had a monumental impact on the global economy, something that Trump, the businessman, has never supported. But this man is doing everything in his second term that he opposed in the past, so it was difficult to understand his mindset. Many believe that Trump's decision to use B-2 stealth bombers to target Iranian nuclear sites was performative rather than being consequential. They argue that Trump was simply trying to please Israelis by deploying the bombers only to miss the nuclear targets. This way, he was able to please Israelis as well as not inviting the wrath of the Iranians. Earlier today, Trump also went to social media to condemn former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev for suggesting that many countries were ready to provide Iran with nuclear warheads. Trump wrote on Truth Social, and I quote, "Did I hear former President Medvedev from Russia casually throwing around the N-word, nuclear, and saying that he and other countries would supply nuclear warheads to Iran? Did he really say that? Or is it just a figment of my imagination? If he did say that, and if confirmed, please let me know immediately. The N word should not be treated so casually. I guess that's why Putin is the boss." End quote. Medvedev has shared a series of social media posts on Twitter as he wrote, and I quote, "The enrichment of nuclear material, and now we can say it outright, the future production of nuclear weapons will continue." He was talking in the context of Iran. "A number of countries are ready to directly supply Iran with their own nuclear warheads." End quote. Responding to Trump's social media post, the former Russian president then said that he wasn't talking about Russia providing those nuclear warheads to Iran, but other countries who weren't part of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty or the NPT. Meanwhile, the Iranians' decision to hit US military bases in Qatar sent shockwaves across the Gulf region. Pro-Israeli Bahrain had already shut down schools and colleges across the country as children were being taught remotely. Similar decisions were being taken by other Gulf countries. Qatar too announced the closure of its airspace. Kuwait said that it was also closing its airspace until further notice. I will leave you with this clip from Tucker Carlson. See how he reacted when he first learned about the Iranian attack on the US military base in Qatar. But more importantly, pay attention to what he says about the military base itself and why it exists in Qatar.
We have some breaking news.
What now?
Well, this is just sad on every level. This is the Telegraph. Look, I don't know if this is true or not. Explosions have been heard over Doha, Qatar, after Iran launched a missile attack on the U.S. base there. Western officials told Axios that Iran had fired 6 missiles toward at least one U.S. base in that Gulf country. That base exists to protect Israel, by the way. I know Bari Weiss is constantly attacking Qatar. Qatar has done more to defend Israel. But anyway, hosting this base, which they don't need at all. It's the richest country in the world. They don't need to do it. They're doing it to be nice. But anyway, sorry. It's just, this is so distressing.
Have Americans been killed?
Officials said earlier that the base located just outside Doha was facing a credible threat. Trump officials are convening in D.C. The base is home to CENTCOM's HQ. British military personnel also serve there on rotation. Many planes have been moved out recently, satellite imagery shows. So that's all we know. It's so distressing. It's so
Who could have seen this coming?
I know.
Who could have seen it coming?
Well, I just want to say it should go without saying, but I mean, I'm praying for the success of, whatever America does, because I'm praying for America, but I'm concerned, and I hope that people who have audiences will be responsible and just remember, like, life is short. You're going to have to give an account. Like, try to be honest, try to be humane, try to care about other people. I don't know. So that's my view.
That's it from me. Thank you very much for your support of this platform and our journalism on buymeacoffee.com and Patreon. If you too think that our journalism is worth supporting, then you too should consider becoming part of it. Details are there in the description of this video. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.